PCs right now are easier than ever to get into, and I kind of want to make a video showcasing how easy it is, I guess, to get into playing on a PC. And the reason I also want to make this video is because there's so many people that I talk to on my day-to-day basis that are maybe debating on getting a new console, upgrading to the Series X, or maybe even going to a PS5. And overall, I want to say consoles are not a bad thing. I love playing on console. I still have my old consoles. I still play on them from time to time. But if you are someone who's actually looking at price comparisons and value and things like that, then that's where it gets a little bit more complicated. Because consoles are really good under the circumstances that maybe you just want to like hop on and that's where all your friends are, so it's a little bit easier, then I think that's fair enough. Or if it's something where, oh, well, they only have the games that I want on console, such as the Nintendo Switch or the Switch 2, where it has a lot of custom games, right? That you can't really play on other platforms without getting a bootleg version or something of that sort. I think all of those are completely fair arguments. But for people that maybe are like, okay, you know what? The games I play are cross platform, or it would be nice to have something that I can use to game, maybe do work on. Maybe you want to do an online job. Maybe you want to go back to school, whatever it is. And I kind of want to showcase that a little bit and showcase what I would do personally. And another reason is because there's so much misinformation out there with this that you have to spend $10,000 and you have to get all this stuff and all these components and all this wacky junk to basically be a good PC, essentially, which is just completely untrue. And I wanted to kind of, I guess, prove that today. I'm not trying to. Once again, want to say this, want to put that out there. I'm not dissing anybody who plays a console, not dissing consoles at all. Just saying, if you want to get into PCs, this is going to probably be your cheapest route to be able to play games at a decent amount and also have other opportunities besides just playing games, because that's the one thing that turns me away from consoles these days is it's just gaming and that's it. And I use my computer for 10 times more than gaming, like stuff that I never knew I would use it for, you know. Like actually answering emails, doing my online business, writing stories, searching for jobs, doing like all this individual stuff. Not only that, but also doing YouTube as well. So my credentials, by the way, I'm not an expert. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I'm not, but I've built two of my own PCs. I've recommended a lot of computers to my friends that are pre-builts that are good, and I wanted to go over those as well. So let's get into it a little bit. So first off, how much does a new PC cost? If you want to get into a PC, a good PC, not something you're gonna boot up and it's gonna, implode a couple weeks later. Well, there is a simple way to check this. Now, there is a site that I like to use. It's called Starforge PCs. This is a uh, place for pre-built PCs that is pretty solid. It's by a lot of content creators, and basically you can just see their different PCs and stuff that they have like on sale. I guess you could say. So if we look here, we go to shop PCs. These are all their separate PCs, right? And you can see they range from a flat $1,000 all the way up to about $6,300 essentially. So these measurements are all the way through basically what I would consider the new mid tier for a PC, all the way up to the very, very high end for a PC. And with the low tier, what a lot of people don't know is when you're looking at a benchmark is basically them showing off what the PC can do on certain games. Okay, so this, like what I would consider mid tier PC on Black Ops 6 can run 130 FPS, meaning that this low range PC can basically keep up with most consoles as it is. $1,000, by the way. In most consoles these days, depending on what you're doing, depending on how you're getting into it or whatever it is going to cost you anywhere from $500 to $1,000. It just genuinely is. And Obviously, if you already own some of the stuff beforehand, like let's say you own a TV, you own the controllers, you own all the stuff, that's less stuff that you have to pay for. But we're talking about the console price to the PC price. That is it. So if you compare these two, you can basically spend a little bit more and get a PC that already runs the same as a console, essentially. And then you go into the next part. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into the next part. So you go to the ultimate version, which is running Black Ops 6. And the reason I'm using Black Ops is because I think it's kind of a neutral game. So Black Ops 6, 387 FPS. This basically means that you can run that game at max graphics, by the way, at 387 FPS, because that's what a lot of people don't realize when it comes to benchmarks is benchmarking is capping the graphics on the benchmark. So if you're playing at 1080p, it's 1080p with everything on high, and that's your FPS. Most people that play PC games, and almost every single PC game I've ever played in my entire life, makes it where you can change the settings. And most people don't play with max settings because it's a waste of resources. It just is. Even the people that have a $10,000 PC are still not playing at max settings, not because they can't, but because why would you want less performance for literally absolutely no reason besides to like make the grass look slightly better in a game? Like let's just be honest here. So already, if you're pricing it from $1,000, you are completely slamming most consoles. Okay, and I know that is more expensive than any base console. We'll look up Xbox Series X price. Sorry, looking it up. All right, Xbox Series X price. We have it right here. So let's go Best Buy. I think that this should be a good one if it loads. So, so the Series X at a base price is, I don't know what Geek Squad is. Oh, this is refurbished. So as a base price, you're getting a Series X at $650. So $350 less than a PC that can already be better than most consoles. So if you save for like a couple more months, maybe you could just get a system that's better, you know? And this is a refurbished one, which is $469. If you don't know what refurbished means, that basically just means that they have essentially update. You know, they've cleaned it. It's been returned, and maybe someone's broken on it, and they've cleaned it, they fixed it, they made it work once again, and that's all it means. So, just right out the gate here, no matter what you're doing, you're going to have to spend a absolutely crazy amount, and that's not including that you're gonna have to pay for Xbox Live, which is another $60 added on per year, bare minimum, not including if they ever raise the prices. And then if you want Game Pass as well, then there is another. I believe it is going to be a minimum of $240 yearly. So if you cut out Game Pass, you cut out Xbox Live, and you're just looking at getting the console alone, right? You can already get a PC that does 10 times better than any console. And that's not me, like I said, once again, this video isn't about me being mean on consoles or anything. It's just facts. It really is just facts. If I can play Black Ops 6 at 133 FPS on max graphics, I don't think a console can. I just don't think a console can. Now consoles obviously don't allow you to change the settings at least too much. Some do, some don't, depending on the game. But from my experience, 4K gaming at 120 FPS only applies to certain games. It You're not getting 120 FPS every single game. It is true that they make games and they readjust them towards console, but then you're not actually getting 4K. Because if you make a game and it's 4K on PC, but 4K on PC looks different than 4K on console, then the game isn't in 4K. That's not how it works. Their max 4K is their 4K. They just like severely dumb it down. Or they'll just throw it on there and it'll be the exact same product and it won't run at 120 FPS, but it'll run at like 80, 100, whatever, or something like that. But that's just base, right? That's just saying video games alone. That's not including the job opportunities you get or anything like that. But let's say you don't want to spend this much. Let's say you don't want to spend $649 on a console because then you're going to have to obviously spend Xbox Live, you're going to have to buy games, you're going to have to do all this stuff, right? Well, let's go to PC Part Picker, one of the best sites ever created, for a pretty simple reason. And that's because you can basically build PCs from scratch and figure out good prices for things without having to break the bank. Now, I do recommend Starforge systems for pre-builds. There is other pre-built sites out there. I just know Starforge is trustworthy. I've never looked into other pre-builds besides like NXT, and I'm not the biggest fan of them. And like iBuyPower is pretty good too. But I know Starforge is reliable. I've talked to 3 people now who I've convinced to buy Starforge, and every single one of them is like, yeah, their PC's goated. So besides like the case being a little weird, and by weird I just mean like it's kind of hard to take out. Like it's hard to mess with essentially, but that can also be a good thing. So, but this is going to be if you buy the parts yourself. So let's look at completed builds. Okay. So first off, you go to PCPartPicker.com. I'll leave a link to it down below, like in the description, maybe in the comments as well. You search by your price range, which let's say, like I said, let's say you don't want to spend basically $1,000 in a year to do all your stuff for your games. So we'll price this around the same price an Xbox is, $651 for an Xbox. We're gonna go by highest rated because highest rated is always going to get you the best like system. So if we look here, there's a lot of different PCs, right? A lot of people are spending a lot of different prices. They're trying to kind of finesse the system is the best way that I can put it. But okay, here's a good one. You have a decent looking PC here. It has kind of this Halloween theme. Now I will say that a lot of these parts are probably a little bit more expensive because of this being a Halloween theme, and that is something to look into. But all of these parts are pretty solid. This is all stuff that, like, obviously it's not top of the line, but at the end of the day, it's a PC that's going to be able to run some games at a pretty decent speed. I think this is actually comparable to one of my friend's PCs, and he runs like every game at 80 FPS, and like it clugs along. He can play almost every single game. The only game that he's ever had a problem on is like Tarkov, and Tarkov is a taxing game no matter what computer you have. It just is at the end of the day because it's a high intensity game for any system, and this is a very low end. I will say this computer is one that you're gonna have to upgrade. You're gonna have to do a lot too, but you would still be able to play games on it. You'd still be able to do everything. Now, is this comparable to a console? No, it's not. Not this PC. Not in particular. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this doesn't even come really close to a console. But it's a starting premise, right? Like at the end of the day. And something that people don't realize as well, I do want to say this, is like a bronze certified and a gold certified. Like obviously, if you can get a gold certified thing at the end of the day, great. A bronze certified is just as good. The certification is basically just how well it did under a stress test. Is like in the simplest form. But there's other PCs on here too that are really good in comparison, and that's why let's actually not make the price 0. Let's make the price 639 starting. There we go. So that way we can actually start with like a good baseline. Okay, let's see. Let's scroll through here a little bit. I know that this is kind of a long video, but that's what I kind of wanted. Okay, first, the power supply is ABU of 500 watt. The CPU price is combined with the motherboard, and the RAM is CPU, motherboard, and RAM combo. Okay, beautiful. It's a very small build. It's very easy, and this is very beginner friendly, right? And it's very easy to clean. Now let's see. 5600G, 3.6 gigahertz, absolutely goaded. Like this piece here is just absolutely goaded. This is what I'm running in my computer right now. It's what a lot of people run. It slams 99% of CPUs on the market, the 5600X and the 5600G. Now, 500 watt power supply. You would have to replace the power supply at some point in the future, but it would be an investment down the road. And then the biggest part for a lot of people is going to be the RAM and the graphics card. Okay, so the RAM is basically how fast everything loads. Is the best way that I can put it. How fast everything loads on your computer. Now this is only 32 gigs of RAM, and frankly, you could go even smaller than 32 gigs. 100% you can. You can play at 16 gigs for most games these days. Now, will you load a little bit slower? Yeah, 100%. But this computer on its own, which is sitting at $645, by the way, is frankly probably about the same or a little bit stronger than any console on the market right now. And you might be wondering, how does he get a 4060 for $275? Well, it's pretty simple. You either get it on sale or you go to eBay. And we're not going to sit here and we're not going to look through every single PC on here. I don't want it to be that. I just want to give some examples to kind of show what we're talking about, right? So you can get very simple, very clean design looking PCs for cheap, for cheaper than a console. You can get stuff even cheaper than this if if you put in the work and you get a little bit lucky. And like I said, how do you do this? You go to eBay or you get them on sale. So if we go to eBay, we go RTX 4060. All right, we're looking for 4060. Oh, look at that. 4060, first one up right here. This guy is located in the United States, free shipping. We'll click on it. Let's see if he has any reviews on his account, okay? So, what you always want to do, obviously, if you're looking on eBay, is you want to look at, is there scratches, is there bumps, is there bruises on the product that you want to get? And then you want to go and you want to see the guy's profile. You want to see if you can see any reviews on his profile. Okay, here we go. All ratings: outstanding customer service, 5 stars. I'm very happy. This is the thing you want to look for. You want to look for real responses that have length, have depth, stuff like that. You want to look for things that don't look like an NPC wrote them. You want to look for like, hey, yeah, good seller, good price. He did do this. However, this listing had types of T14 listed and T14 3As. I reached out to the seller and they brought, like, this is a real comment, right? He's bringing up real scenarios that happen. It's not just fake and that's saying, oh, this seller's great. That's what you want to look for in eBay sellers. And if you get scammed, you can get your money back. Just make sure if you buy from eBay, there's two things you need to look for: their overall profile reviews, and you need to look at the fine print. Because if they say it's broken in the fine print, you won't get your money back. I'm sorry to tell you that. You just won't. But if it says works fine, works great, nothing is wrong with it, little dusty, and then it comes in, it's snapped in half, you can just get your money back. And eBay will fight it for you. They're actually pretty good about doing it. And this is how you can get a lot of parts. See, 4060 for $192. Let's go back to PC Part Picker. So he got his for $275, meaning instantly, we saved $80 by literally just going to eBay and looking at the first posting. And this is basically how every single PC can be built. So if you want a good PC, my biggest recommendations are genuinely hop on PC Part Picker and find one that you think is cool, that's within your budget, and then get used parts. Because this isn't about what is better. Is PC better? Is console better? Is this better? Is that better? It's not about that. It's about what you want at the end of the day, right? If you just want to hop on, you want to play some games with your boys, and that's it, there's no shame in that, 100%. But if you're like, okay, I want to hop on, I want to play some games with my boys, but it would also be nice to be able to listen to music without having to pause my game. It would be really nice to be able to maybe look for some online jobs, some stay-at-home jobs. It'd be nice to maybe do YouTube. It'd be nice to do Twitch, whatever it is. You don't need a crazy juiced out PC for $10,000. You can easily get one of these PCs for $600, $700, and these will run the same, if not better, than most consoles. And that's just how it is at the end of the day. And if you're someone who doesn't like secondhand parts, I'm kind of like that for a lot of things, like especially expensive things like the graphics card. I'm not a huge fan of secondhand parts, to be 100% honest. I wait for Black Friday. Wait for Black Friday, Cyber Weekend, Cyber Monday. I got a 4060 Ti for $100 last year on Cyber Monday, and like it completely obliterates every single thing. Now, a lot of people obviously will say that that graphics card sucks or whatever, but I mean, if you're comparing it to a 560 from 15, 20 years ago, it uh, it completely destroys that, and it compares to every single console out there currently. Don't let people lie to you and just keep telling you that you have to get a $10,000 PC to run it. And this goes for anybody, whether you want a computer, your boy wants a computer, whatever it is. I just wanted to put that knowledge basically out there. I know this is a little bit of a long video, but genuinely, I think having the knowledge and actually knowing that it doesn't cost a fortune and you can actually spend $600 or less and get a PC that's on par or even better than most consoles, I think is just a big W, especially if you're looking for those extra feats, You're looking to be able to do those extra things. If you're worried about a monitor, use your TV you're probably using for your console already, right? If you're worried about a keyboard and mouse, get a get a $20 keyboard and mouse. I'm not rich. I'm gonna be straight honest with you. So everything I showed you is probably stuff I would buy. Like a lot of the stuff that I showed you is stuff that I have bought, in fact. And I got the stuff. I can prove it to you guys at some point. And I think next time we actually, because I do plan to upgrade our PC at some point, I am saving up for it. I think next time I do that, I'm going to probably do a full build for you guys and do a price breakdown and show you guys when I got it, how I got it, and how much better it is than most things, and what I actually do with my PC. Because, like I said, I do YouTube, but I also write, I also play games, I stream sometimes. I like to listen to music. I like having 6,000 tabs open at the same time. Sometimes I'll be on Minecraft, Dungeon Defenders, have Discord open, have music open. Like, that's why I love computers over console. Is just like there's something in my brain that it scratches. It scratches the ability to have 50,000 things and have no issues. But yeah, that's all I want to talk about today. Was how manageable it is. Like I said, I will leave links to PC Part Picker and even Starforge down below, just in case you guys do want to go to Starforge and check out their pre-builds. But I'm not sponsored. I'm gonna say that 100%. I'm not sponsored. This is 100% knowledge that I've gained from my own experiences, from building computers to looking at computers to reading information on computers. So yeah, we'll make another video in the future. But thank you guys so much for watching and have a wonderful night. Peace.